It's time for Screen Junkies Movie Fights.
What's going on, everybody? It's Movie Fights. Hashtag Movie Fights Live. Hoot hoot. Where my owls at? Hashtag Owl Nation. Hashtag Gahooligans. Let's fly. We're here for another edition of Movie Fights, and we have got quite a table of competitors right here, right now. Let's meet our combatants. Josh, you know we're doing an owl thing.
I got it, yeah.
First off, we're from Collider, the all over the schmoes, Schmodown. Perri, NEMIROFF, hello.
Giving me a little too much Schmodown credit.
Oh, I know you schmo around.
Yeah, not exactly like that, but there's I guess some schmoes in my life.
She won a Jurassic Park Schmodown that is a instant classic. That is like immaculate reception of the Schmodown. It's incredible.
That's it. I've completely reduced myself to Jurassic Park and also Scream Schmodowns. If that's ever on the table, I will play again.
Sure.
You know what? People have their focus. People have their specialty. So like, if there's ever, the Jurassic Park universe is like, it's going to keep going. So you.
I'm in good shape then.
Yes, you have your bailiwick there. Second, he is the titular character of the Josh MACUGA show. Also, he is, if Alex Trebek and the powers that be, Merv Griffin Enterprises, know what's good for them, the next host of Jeopardy, Josh MACUGA.
What's up, Hal? Glad to be back, man. I've seen movies since the last time, none of them which were directed by Ava DuVernay.
Oh, yeah, I remember you argued for Ava DuVernay to do something, and then during the question you revealed that you'd never seen any Ava DuVernay directed film.
Yeah, that's true. And also, I think Billy, when I said, well, I didn't see the movie, he like peeked his head around. I was like, come on. Yeah. So, we're here. I'm back.
Always good to have you back, brother.
Thanks, buddy.
And this gentleman is the host of the Only Stupid Answers podcast. Welcome back, DJ Woolridge.
Hey, what's with the owl thing?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. Hey, it's good to be back.
Good to see you, DJ. What goes on in your podcast?
We just talk about movies, comic books, TV shows, everything we love. I think we did one on dragons and whether they're real or not a couple weeks back. So, just whatever the mood moves us.
I mean, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Gila monsters.
People apparently had seen them over a town. It was a thing.
What?
I know.
Okay.
See, there are no dumb questions, only stupid answers. Wink.
You know what? I got to listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for being back. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So this show, the questions are decided by myself and everybody over there on the Dan Cam. He is our fact checker extraordinaire and also a judge of the questions, Dan Murrell.
Hello, all of those things.
Yes.
Judge of the question.
Yes, he will be giving his opinion. He will be weighing in with his thoughts. Dan, what's got you excited coming out this weekend?
This weekend?
Yeah.
I did not. I saw Night School and did not enjoy it, so that doesn't have me very excited.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
Shocking.
Is it?
I'm excited. It doesn't come out this weekend, but I get to see Bad Times at the El Royale tonight, which I think we're going to review on Screen Junkies News tomorrow, and I'm excited to see it because it looks good.
Yeah, I feel like that one could go either way. Either way.
So
that's not one of those movies that great cast.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
That's what I'm excited about is to find out about that tonight.
I look forward to hearing.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And he is stepping in for Danielle. He will be the voice of the people today. Ryan O'Toole.
Hey, people. Hey, sorry for being your voice today. Danielle is doing other work, but thanks for having me, Hal.
Yeah. Ryan, can you explain to them how exactly that business is going to be working?
Oh, I sure can. You guys, we're going to be voting each round, the first 3 rounds, and you could vote using the iCard in the top right corner of your screen and be right above you over here. To do that, you got to either refresh after each question, or you turn your annotations off and on again in the settings tab. Ask in the chat. We'll be more than happy to help you. We'll get everyone up in the vote, and we'll make sure you get it. And make sure you're voting on the best arguments.
Hal,
yes.
The people should know that if you were going to open up the clock that is Screen Junkies, Ryan is the man inside twisting the gears and keeping everything. He's our content manager, right? So he's
that a man with the clock on the walls?
Puts in the descriptions and the thumbnails, and that's Ryan. So.
Oh yeah, was that a House of the Clock on its Walls reference there?
No, but yes.
You know what? Let's just say it was.
We talked it out before the show.
If Screen Junkies were a house. Ryan is the clock in its walls.
Tremendous. And that would make you Kate Blanchett.
That's correct. I am Kate Blanchett.
Great. Ryan, thank you for being here, holding it down. We have great faith, good sir. Also, we don't have JTE today, so JT, if you're out there, and you're out there somewhere, but if you're watching, please get well soon. Billy Biz in the booth. And I want to introduce one new friend. We have a new friend today, Dan. Did you know that?
I did not.
Hoot hoot!
Oh, no.
This is Percival the Owl, and he'll be telling us when each round is over. Hoot 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 hoot! Good luck, everyone. Goodbye now. All right, so that's Percival. He'll be coming out on occasion at the end of the round.
If Juan had not worn an owl shirt that day, what would we do for material?
Right? Oh, yeah, and my owl pin. Real quick, there are 3 regular round questions, and then we go into the speed round. The top 2 players in the first 3 regular round questions will move on to the speed round. But once we hit that speed round, it's anybody's game. You could be down 3-0 and come back in that speed round.
Now I remember.
Yeah,
Now I remember, Billy. Now I remember. Thanks,
It's all
buddy.
coming back.
Yes.
Y'all ready to have some fun?
I'm ready for this.
Sure.
Hey, Billy Biz, roll that beautiful bean footage.
Prepare to die. Ladies and gentlemen. No. It's main event time.
Right, thank you, Thor. All right, question number 1. You guys, fall movie season's here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Grab a pumpkin spice latte and go to the movies. So, here's our question. What will the big hit of the fall movie season be? What will it be? And we're going to start off with player number 1, Perry NEMIROFF.
All right, probably no surprise here for anybody who knows my taste. It is Halloween, and I could say that with a whole lot of confidence because I haven't just seen it once, I've seen it twice, and the movie is the perfect balance of fan service and a nice continuation of that story for folks who love the Halloween franchise, but then there's also some really well-woven in exposition that'll catch everybody else up if you're not into Halloween yet. And then when you consider the fact that this movie is coming out October 19th, right before Halloween, I can see you doing the judgy face already. Am I scaring you? Is that the problem here? Probably.
I don't get scared by you. I just get scared by things.
Well, I'll make you go see this movie because the movie is excellent. It's already tracking at something like $55 million. I think the production budget on this one is something like $10 million. This is going to crush it, and it's going to reinvigorate the Halloween franchise.
All right, thank you, Perry. Coming in with Halloween, MACUGA.
I'm going to go on a completely different angle, but part of a franchise in Creed 2. I think Creed 2, the trailer that dropped yesterday, might be my favorite trailer I've seen in the last 2 years of any movie. I loved this trailer. I loved the first Creed. I didn't think... Listen, I'm a diehard Rocky fan, and I'm maybe a little bit of a homer on this one, but I think that the Rocky franchise is a franchise that, since the 70s, has never really taken a hit except for Rocky 5. And even then, there were parts of Rocky 5 where, like, it's not that bad. And to reinvigorate it with a whole new person as far as the boxer goes, but to keep the original Rocky-ness to it and be able to make a sequel that should be hokey and stupid and everything, and make a trailer that makes this movie look absolutely bonkers good, makes me think that Creed 2 could be the movie that brings those casual Rocky fans back to the theaters. Creed 2, I think, will be the movie that when all the dust settles at the end of the fall, he's going to be standing at the mountaintop screaming, Drago!
Bam.
Dun, 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 dun.
MACUGA, Creed 2, taking that title. DJ.
Yeah, so I'm going with a little bit of a dark horse here. It's very nice of you guys to choose new iterations of long-running franchises, but why not celebrate something that is new, something that we're going to be talking about in the future, something that's not going to just get lost within the gray matter of other franchises. I'm talking about The Night Comes for Us. It's coming to Netflix in the middle of October. I also had the benefit of seeing this movie at Fantastic Fest, and I can tell you, great still, by the way. I can tell you this movie will blow your mind. This is a movie that won't just blow people's minds in the fall season. This is a movie that we're going to be talking about for a long time now. It reunites Joe Taslim and Iko Uwais from The Raid, and the action is something that nothing that is coming out the rest of the year will be able to compete, and this is something that people will be watching and talking about for years to come.
Wow, okay. Fight it out, y'all.
As much as I'm excited for The Night Comes for Us, which I've only heard wonderful things about, it's a Netflix movie. Can you give me the definition of a big hit on Netflix? Because I don't think they're ever going to tell us.
The definition of somebody that people talking about it, people watching about it, people watching it well into the future. I can also say at Fantastic Fest, I did not see Halloween because another movie I wanted to see was competing against it. However, reception was mixed. So I don't know if that equals big box office this year in Halloween. It is another iteration of a franchise. It's David Gordon Green, if I remember correctly, who also gave us Your Highness. And I can only imagine people coming out of that theater with mixed feelings as well. And as far as Creed 2 goes, one of the things that made
come at me,
Creed 1 amazing, one of the things that made Creed 1 amazing was Ryan Coogler, and he's not a part of the franchise anymore. So this could just be another sequel.
He is a part of the franchise in spirit, just like Rocky is, because I think that Rocky, by the end of the movie, he might be dead and as like a ghost. But that's besides the point. Listen, I don't know what your movie is.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of this movie, so you're coming at me with throwing like a screwball covered in blueberry jam. That's a sports reference, and I'm sorry.
It's okay.
What I am excited about with your movie is the Raid thing, but I'm with Perry on this one. Listen, you throw it on Netflix, it's just like a bingeable series. The only way it's going to rise to the top is if everybody's talking about it.
Yes, which they will be.
I don't think they are.
I've seen it. They will be.
I don't think that the mass appeal of that movie and then put on Netflix amongst Nailed It and the Great British Bake Off and all that kind of stuff is going to be able to rise to the top as a movie that people are going to be talking about in the fall. I mean, The Raid, guys, that's still a niche franchise for a lot of people.
And Fantastic Fest is a niche film festival.
I thought
whereas
Fantastic
Halloween
Fest was just about people that like to say the word fantastic at the Paramount lot drinking beer. I had no idea.
Halloween was a part of Fantastic Fest where you have all the genre fans, and it was also a part of TIFF of all things. That's where you go when you have the confidence that your movie is going to crush it.
It's like buying your way into college. Like, hey, my dad he'll own a building. Let's put MACUGA library on it. Let me get Halloween into TIFF.
Well, when your movie only costs $10 million to make and you're about to make $55 million plus, I guess you have money to throw around, which makes it a guaranteed hit.
Sure.
What number Halloween is this?
Like 46.
There's a lot of Halloweens.
Yeah,
but
so what's to keep it from just getting lost in the shuffle?
It's not going to get lost in the shuffle because of the whole retcon thing.
Yeah.
You're going straight from the first Halloween, the original that made the franchise as special as it is, to continuing the story in this movie.
Like the Predator, which was everybody loved, which everybody was talking about.
Perry,
as someone who has seen both, one is significantly better than the other.
Your rose-colored glasses with Halloween right now are going like straight to a burgundy.
Apparently,
like, you can't
a lot of
see
people
past,
are wearing those glasses when the movie's got something like an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, but those are all just horror fans, horror critics.
They're all Fantastic Fest goers and TIFF goers.
Once October is gone, once we've gone into November and everybody's done drinking pumpkin spice and they're psyched for that Dunkin' Christmas donut, they're going to be like, who cares about Halloween? It's a horror movie. Are you kidding me? Creed 2 is the movie that is going to reinvigorate the boxing franchise.
Why do you think Stephen Cable Jr. is going to make as good of a...
Stephen Cable Jr.?
My point exactly.
Tell me who that is.
He's the director of the movie.
Oh, I don't care about that. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
The Creed franchise is now launching from an already established perfection of Rocky into a movie and a boxing arena that we haven't seen.
Do you know what Creed 2 is up against? It's going up against Green Book, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Robin Hood. That's a significant
the only
amount
one
of
that really matters there is Ralph
week.
Breaks the Internet. So the two
It's because you're not aware of Green Book. TIFF it won the Audience Award. That is going to be a huge crowd pleaser.
Nobody that is a casual movie going is like, it won TIFF. Let me go to my local Cineplex. There were kids that are like, who's ever heard of Green Book? Nobody gives a crap. They're going to go see Creed 2.
They're going to see Wreck-It Ralph. A year from now, 2 years from now, people are going to be like, oh man, what was your favorite Creed movie? The first one. What was your favorite Halloween Halloween movie, the first one.
What have we been
The
waiting
Night
to
Comes for Us
see?
will still be a movie people will be watching in their dorm rooms, watching with
They
their
won't
friends.
know the title. They'll be
talking
like,
about-
oh, that movie from the guys who did The Raid.
But they'll be watching it. They'll be talking about it. It'll be something that matters to people. It'll be an action movie that
They're going to be
reinvigorates
wondering
the
what
franchise.
came to them, not the night. The night didn't come for them. They're going to wonder. They're going to hope that money that they spent on the movie comes back. To them.
They won't be having to go spend the money. It's on Netflix. It'll still be there.
Again,
It's one layer less. They'll have to be like, oh man, I think it was Ralph Cornett told me on average people see one movie a year. All right, guess what? It's going to be on Netflix. They don't have to decide like, am I going to see another
And it's gonna
Halloween
be
movie with
that
the guy
one?
that gave us Your Highness?
Yeah.
We're also
Halloween
still
movie's
talking
out.
about the biggest hit here, and I don't know how to quantify a big hit on Netflix.
I
Whereas
say you
I'm going to see
quantify
the
it.
dollars and cents that Halloween is going to bring in when
quantify-
it's only going up against Serenity. And who knows anything about Serenity?
Perry, every
it's got
person
the weekend
did
all
that
to
has seen
itself.
all of the
a bunch of years
Halloweens,
ago?
those are the only people that.
Serenity?
McConaughey and
Okay, different
Hathaway.
Serenity.
Yeah,
different
yeah,
Serenity.
Very different one.
I'm quantifying hit by something that will continue to matter past the end of this fall. Something that moviegoers will still be talking about, still be interested, still
Creed
be
2.
affecting them.
You are proving my point for me. Creed 2. How so many people are so excited for Creed 2 based off Creed, which came out a year and a half ago, whenever that came out. I don't know facts, I just know opinions. Okay? And what I do know is that Creed 2, we have been jonesing for what happened to Ivan Drago. He was the Siberian Nightmare. The Siberian Nightmare, Murrell? You can help me out. But the death from above. And then Rocky comes at him. And in this trailer, he says, he knocked things in me that haven't been fixed since. You're talking about one of the greatest villains in the history of movies. The greatest villains in the history of movies, and Ivan Drago coming back and training his son to fight Rocky's protege, and you just know that Rocky's probably going to die in this movie. So this is going to be the movie that Rocky finally dies.
You're really banking on Rocky
You know
dying in
he's
this
going
one.
to die. I guarantee you he's going to die. And they're like, oh my God, can you believe Rocky died? Ba, 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 ba. Straight into February, April. Like, have you seen...
Josh, I want you to go ahead and roll this into your final thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Creed 2 is the kind of thing that we talked about when we were on the playground and we were like, who would fight Drago? What are Drago's kids like? What's it like growing up in a communist, still torn Russia that Putin is keeping under an iron fist? And now we have that answer. We have that answer. Adonis Creed, he's now fighting for a family, just like in Rocky 4 when Adrian screamed, you can't win! You know he's got a kid and he's got a wife and he's fighting for something that is new. He is fighting for the pride. He's fighting for his father who was killed by this man. This is redemption in the ring. This isn't redemption via guns or anything else. This is redemption in its purest form. Fist covered in foam, covered in leather with Everlast written on it. That is Creed 2. This is the ultimate redemption, villain, back, franchise, everything together. It makes it perfect. Creed 2.
All right. I admire your passion. Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
DJ.
Listen. Creed, here's the thing. You haven't seen Creed. She's seen Halloween. I've seen The Night Comes For Us. And guess what? When people walked out of the movie seeing Halloween, they're like, it was fine. It was fine. When people walked out of the theater seeing The Night Comes For Us, they were buzzing. Everybody in the whole room was talking about it. We're going up with strangers like, can you believe what we just saw? That energy, that excitement will spread to every person that sees it, who will spread by word of mouth. And this will be a movie that we continue to talk about for years to come as something that action fans and non-action fans will love to watch with other people. And it's not just about the box office. It's about movies that will last and kind of change the way we watch and enjoy movies and something we remember. And that is The Night Comes For Us.
Thank you, DJ. Perry, final thoughts.
I could tell you that walking out of my TIFF screening, it was that same exact reaction to Halloween. And you know what? Halloween ticks both boxes. It's going to have the money box, and then on top of that, it's going to have the legacy box. And we're going to see the success of this movie reverberate, one, with the continuation of that franchise, two, with it giving Blumhouse a nice boost. And I guarantee you, so many are going to want to try to emulate what this movie accomplishes. With all of the slasher movies that have been used and abused for years, this format and this movie in particular and how good it is, it gives them the motivation to actually make a good one. They took the time, they did it right, they respected the legacy and took it a step further.
Hoot, 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 hoot. Thank you, Percival. That's the end of round number 1. All right, Dan, where are we sitting as far as factualities?
We got a lot of factualities to go through. First of all, as to the rest of the show, we're going to be referring to fall movie season. I think in the next round we might go into December. That's because a lot of times when people refer to the fall movie season, that takes us through the end of the year. So if you're curious why there's things in November and December in here, that's because that's just sort of the 3 segments is like spring, summer, fall. Fall goes through the end of the year.
Also, we're in Los Angeles where there are no seasons.
There are no seasons here. That's correct. Perry, you were right on the money. Halloween's budget is at $10 million, currently tracking at a $50 to $60 million opening. Those numbers always can change as you get closer, but that's where it is currently. As far as the reception, currently on Rotten Tomatoes, it is at 85% with 52 reviews in, including Perry's, with an average rating of 7.2. So that's the reception that's on the
Is that
board.
like insider trading though? Because Perry's got her own review in there. It's like, well, I gave it a positive review, so I'm part of my factoid.
I'm sure it was all part of a conspiracy to win this round.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I love that this is the first movie fight. Shout out to the Great British Bake Off. Watch your soggy bottoms. This is the 11th film in the Halloween franchise. Ivan Drago had 3 nicknames that I could find: the Siberian Express, the Siberian Bull, and Death from Above.
I said Death from Above. And did I say Siberian Express? What did I say?
Siberian Nightmare or something like
That's still
that.
pretty good. Maybe they'll use it for Creed 2.
Okay.
A 2014 survey said that the average American adult reported that they went to 5 movies in the previous year. However, there are a lot of more options now, streaming options, so that number could have changed. But that was the most recent year that I could find data for.
Dan, you crushed it on the facts right there.
Good.
Man.
That makes me happier than the one
Fast
movie thing. The
fingers.
one movie thing made me sad. 5 is at least a little bit better.
Yeah.
Go see more movies.
You 3 real different movies. Josh, I mean, I loved your passion. Just like you were selling me on like why I would want to see the movie, but I don't feel like you sold why people would make it the biggest movie of the fall.
Every time I'm on here, you start like, you know what, Josh? I really like you, and I want to date you, but
You're not getting the point this round. DJ, you almost had me with it being a big hit and the movie that people are going to be talking about, but I feel like Perry had a great knock against you, as well as Josh saying, it's a Netflix movie, how's it going to do that? And maybe if you cited like the way Making a Murderer became a phenomenon, and season 1 of Daredevil became a phenomenon, but you didn't get specific enough for that, so I just couldn't envision it breaking out. But Perry, you had a great opening round, and I feel like you clinched it for me with your final round salvo there. So
just
take
so
the point
we're
from
all
me.
aware that Perry is actually the Siberian Express when it comes to movie fights. She comes in.
Well, she's got my vote for Halloween right here. Dan Murrell.
I think that DJ, you kind of gave yourself an extra burden of proof in the argument, which is you had to not only argue about why this movie would connect with people, but why it would transcend being on Netflix and find that audience. And I don't think you quite got there for me. So it was between Perry and Josh. And, I think you both spoke very well to how each of the films would speak to the base, to the fans of the franchise. But between the two, I actually think that Josh persuaded me a little bit more as to why the average person might connect to that, why it might be more appealing to just the everyday moviegoer on the street. So I actually ended up edging toward Josh in that argument.
All right. All right, we are 1-1. That means we are going to the fan poll to decide. Ryan O'Toole.
Woo, just refresh the fan poll one last time right now. It was neck and neck between Halloween and Creed 2 the whole time. And it is close, 40 to 49%. Winning out this one is Creed 2, so Josh would win.
Creed 2, 49%? Yep. All right, MACUGA, you take the point.
It's my first point on movie fights. Or maybe we've had one before. Billy, check the number.
I gotta say, I am excited, very excited for both these movies. But do go see The Night Comes.
The way he
I just really wanted to. I just really want to talk about it. I just really want to talk about it. It got me super excited.
Dude, you got me pretty amped for it.
He was the only good thing about Mile 22. Iko Uwais being in Mile 22 was the only thing that made that movie bearable to watch. So
and you watch this movie. It's nuts. It's nuts. And it's this whole stunt team that choreographs the sequences. They'll blow your mind.
all right.
Wow, awesome.
But I'm excited for both these movies. I was bummed I didn't get to see Halloween on a Fantastic Fest.
No,
but,
jealous. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Here's a factoid. Never seen a Halloween movie.
Oh, see the first one, Carpenter, John Carpenter.
Yeah, the first one's great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta fix that.
What are you waiting for?
I'm very scared of everything.
And Carpenter scores the new one, right?
Exciting.
Yeah.
All right, question number 2. So we talked about the biggest hit. What will be the biggest disappointment of the fall movie season? Biggest disappointment of the fall movie season. Question 2. Start with player 2. Josh MACUGA.
As much as this pains me to say, because I want it to be very, very good, I think the biggest disappointment is going to be Aquaman. That's my Aquaman impersonation. That's him talking underwater.
Oh, gotcha.
You like that? I just, I thought he was underutilized in Justice League. We haven't really had any kind of an origin and or cool story with him, and I know this is probably going to be his origin story, so I'm like kind of counterbalancing myself, but there was nothing in this trailer that gets me excited. It feels like it's too busy. There seems like there's maybe 2, even 3 villains. He's fighting his brother. I don't know if it's his mom or his sister. And there's just so many different characters. And then they have that scene where he's like, "Oh, welcome to Atlantis." It just looks like that underwater place in Phantom Menace. And I'm not super excited for what I've seen thus far in the trailers. That and the fact that DC is very hit or miss. Wonder Woman, hit. Justice League, miss. Suicide Squad, miss. There's something about this movie where there's not a lot behind it that gets me excited as far as being able to trust them on a standalone. Because I know I might be in a minority or a split that I thought Man of Steel was an absolute joke. That movie was terrible. Batman v Superman was terrible. I just don't know what they're going to be able to do with Aquaman that's going to change my mind. And that being said, too, James Wan has really been striking out at the plate a lot for me, too, recently. So this Aquaman movie does not look like something that I think is going to be the breakout hit of the fall. In all honesty, I think a lot of comic book fans are going to go to see Aquaman and be very disappointed.
All right, is Aquaman going to drown? DJ.
Listen, a lot of personal opinions there. You know what I mean? Like, even some of DC's movies that people consider misses still made a lot of money. Superhero movies in general tend to make a lot of money, no matter where they're coming from or whatever. I can tell you a movie that's probably not going to do well, either in critical reception or money, is Robin Hood. Because I couldn't even tell you who's directing it. Most it reminds me of is King Arthur, which also bombed at the box office. I was surprised to see that Warner Brothers wasn't also producing this. I was kind of assuming it was like a shared universe thing was going on. It is not. Studios keep trying to trot out these old, tried and true King Arthur, Robin Hood, and people don't care. People don't want to see them, and they are not good enough to overcome the negative perception people already have. They would rather see a Venom or an Aquaman in theaters. So I think this movie is not critically not going to do so great, and is definitely financially not going to do great.
Okay, Robin Hood and his men will not be merry, according to DJ. Perry.
I think we're in trouble with Venom. If that whole turd in the wind line didn't do it for you, it's the fact that this movie isn't screening for critics until really close to release, and that is almost a sure sign that it is not going to live up to the incredible amount of hype. And, box office or not, we're talking about the biggest disappointment here, and this one, with all the hype building towards, one, having Spider-Man go back into the MCU, and then Sony reinvigorating their, I guess, Spider-Man-less Spider-Man franchise over there. This is the first movie out the gate, and when people just don't like it, yeah, it might have a strong opening weekend in terms of money making, but if fans don't like it, this could absolutely crush a significant long-term plan for a studio that is kind of riding on some sort of necessary success with a comic book franchise.
All right, let's fight it out.
Listen, I think with whether your personal opinions aside, people are excited about these movies. People will go see these movies, and people are invested in these characters. And I think Aquaman is destined to be a hit because James Wan, whether you like his movies or not, the Conjuring movies still make a buttload of money. The Nun did incredibly well, and he just produced that one. I think his name attached with my wife does not care at all about superhero movies. She saw Jason Momoa with his shirt off, and she is in. All right, I think general audiences will go see this movie, and Venom I think will do well enough. I don't think it will do as badly as Robin Hood is destined to do. If you look at other times people have tried other Robin Hood movies, for crying out loud.
If we're talking about disappointments here, not box office failures, disappointments, you poll a whole bunch of people out there is no doubt they are more invested in seeing a good Venom movie and a good Aquaman movie than a good Robin Hood movie. I can't even. That has been so. I pay attention to everything that's coming out. That has been so not on my radar. I almost completely forgot it comes out in November. So when it comes out and it bombs, it can't be a disappointment because I don't care.
I would tend to agree with Perry in a certain extent of Robin Hood. I didn't know it existed until I think I was at the trailer. I saw it before a movie, and I can't remember what movie I saw it before, but I was like, wait a second, they're making another Robin Hood. So they keep making these bombs, like the Russell Crowe one was terrible. Yeah. Without the Richard Marx soundtrack, the Kevin Costner one would have been terrible. But the thing about the Robin Hood movies is there is legitimately no expectation. Everybody's like, oh, did they make a Kingsman Robin Hood spinoff? Because that's basically what this looks like.
And then when Robin Hood bombs, we'll just go right back to Kingsman 3.
Kingsman 4, Robin Hood's not back. For me, though, Perry, Venom, it may have hype in our world, like the people that we know, but outside of the diehard superhero people, somebody sees the term Venom on a cinematic marquee, whatever, and they're like, I'm not going to see that crap movie, because they don't care. There's no hype behind Venom. Nobody cares to see Tom Hardy.
Tracking the $60 million?
That's the diehard. What I'm saying is that, like,
that's a lot of money.
The disappointment, but how much money did they put in it? Like 190?
They probably put a
Murrell, you can look that up for me. Again, I don't know facts. All I know is my thoughts. And my thoughts are that Tom Hardy cannot mumble his way through another movie and have me want to see it. That trailer is ridiculous. It is a giant gelatinous Jello cube that kindergartners make during Halloween time. Like, so what you do is you put the milk in, and then you put the black Jello in, and you make a little Venom. That thing, it's silly. That movie is terrible.
That's exactly why it's going to break a whole lot.
But nobody cares about it.
I think the diehards will love it no matter what. You listed off a series of DC movies that not only made a lot of money, but the diehards care about. And I think Venom will be another one of those movies that people in our crowd will be like, I can't understand. It will make a lot of money. People will be excited about it, and we will definitely be getting a sequel. Whereas Robin Hood will tank.
Not only are we not going to get a Venom sequel, but I wouldn't be surprised if Venom crashed and burned and then took everything else Sony has planned with it. But Deadpool, everybody loved it, and it crushed it at the box office.
I think people will love this, and it will crush it at the box office inexplicably.
What I'm saying is that Aquaman is like the tent pole for WB right now going forward. They have nothing else in the works that people are like, oh my god, Sirens of Gotham? Woo! Oh my god!
People are excited about Shazam. And people are excited about Aquaman.
Oh man,
and people are excited about Wonder Woman 2.
Also,
they're all excited about it. What I'm saying is,
what's the last James Wan movie you saw? Because as far as I know, as someone who has seen almost all of his work, his bar hits a certain point. Maybe they're not all perfect movies, but it's always of a certain quality and it never dips below.
You're talking about a F-ton of horror movies. I'm talking about
what about his Fast and Furious movie?
The Fast and Furious, it's an action movie with cars. You guys you're taking that totally out. You are talking about a beloved comic book character that nobody wants to see bomb and that is going to tank.
I recognize comic book character that people have middle brow expectations for, that you're taking an actor that people care about, with a director that people like, and you're making a movie that looks a lot like Guardians of the Galaxy underwater.
Also, those trailers look good. And that extended trailer that they showed at Comic-Con this year, that one had the entire audience erupting.
A live-action Little Mermaid is going to look the exact same as that Aquaman underwater Atlantis.
And see, we're talking about the excitement between Aquaman and Venom, and the fact that people are excited. The fact that people are not excited about Robin Hood still means the studio
they can't be disappointed.
But it's not just people's disappointment. It's not just people's disappointment. It's the studio that's sunk a lot of money into that movie. It's meant to be a tentpole. It is meant to start a franchise. I think of the three movies we're talking about that is least likely to get its sequel, I think Robin Hood has to top that list.
Okay.
Robin Hood has no chance. Like we said in the last fight, Creed 2 and Ralph Breaks the Internet. That movie is going to get steamrolled.
Exactly. And Aquaman is definitely going to get a sequel. It will make money. Venom, flip a coin.
He's going to get a sequel 10 years from now with a new Aquaman.
Between no expectations and no money, it's going to end up being that blip on the radar that comes and goes, and everybody completely forgets it ever existed.
Okay, so I think it makes it a pretty massive disappointment.
If we're looking at lore,
how much money did they invest in that movie? Too much at that point.
If we're looking at lore, though, okay, so everybody knows the name Robin Hood, right? A lot of people know the name Aquaman. A select few know the name Venom. I'm talking outside of the realms that we live in.
I think that character's popularity.
I think we're way underestimating
If I ask my 10 buddies that have no idea about superhero movies or comic books, and I say, you know who Aquaman is? Yeah, it's that guy that talks to fishes. Who's Venom? I got no idea.
No, they will definitely know who Venom is.
If they don't know who Venom is from the source material, they probably know who Venom is from Spider-Man 3, which would make this an even bigger disappointment if we saw Venom twice on the big screen and they bombed both times.
And he bombs. He looks like Cara Delevingne at the end of Suicide Squad. He's just like throwing his long hands out there, and then he's like taking over.
Guess what? Suicide Squad made money.
It also won an Oscar, but nobody gave a shit. I'm telling you, nobody cares about Robin Hood and Venom. Nobody cares. People care about Aquaman because he is a stalwart in the Justice League. WB, every superhero, they want that movie to work. We couldn't care about these movies. They don't care.
You keep emphasizing
Aquaman
how
is
little
the
people
movie.
care about Robin, which I keep feeling like emphasizes my point of how it's going to be the biggest bomb of the amount of money spent on
But
the
if we're
movies
talking about
and how little it's gonna
DJ,
make
go
back.
ahead and roll this into your final thoughts, please.
I think the lack of excitement, the lack of interest. I think the amount of money and time and star power Jamie Foxx is in this movie. The investment in this movie. I think if you're talking about box office disappointment, if you're talking about critical reception, will be of the movies. This will have the lowest critical reception. This will have the lowest box office, which I think makes it the biggest disappointment overall of these movies. The fact that you guys even forgot that it existed, I think, is a testament to how this will be the biggest disappointment of the fall season.
Thanks,
do I
DJ.
go?
Yeah, back around to you.
Moviegoers don't care about Robin Hood, nor does the studio, because it seems to be burying it, so it can't be a disappointment in either category. And as for Aquaman, yeah, people are invested in Aquaman, but based on everything we've seen thus far, there is nothing to hint that that is going to be a failure, whereas Venom, we're right around the corner from the release. We've seen time and time again them release promo footage that just doesn't look good, that looks laughably bad, where they pronounced important words wrong, and on top of that, these screenings are happening so close to release that is almost always a bad sign.
A disappointment on a villain movie that nobody cares about. You're talking about a hero. This is there are so much expectations up for Aquaman that when it bombs, it's going to be another hit to the armor of WB, being like, what can we do to make a franchise work? All we have is Wonder Woman. That's all we have. We can't get somebody to stay in a Batman suit. We can't get anybody to do a Superman movie. All we have are these ancillary characters like the Sirens of Johnny Be Good. Who knows? What I'm saying is that Aquaman, I don't even know what that is. I ran off. I'm sorry. What I'm saying is that Aquaman, as far as both of these, there's a little bit of expectation for Venom. There's a little bit of none for Robin Hood. There is a huge expectation for Aquaman. So if it makes money, great. But if going forward, nobody gives a crap and it still is another hit to the WB cinematic superhero universe, whatever we're calling it now, Aquaman is going to be another falling flat failure.
Hoot hoot! That's the end of round 2, everybody. Thank you, Percival. Dan, give us your facts and go ahead and tell us what you thought about this argument.
Sure, just a couple of things. Robin Hood, this new one is directed by Otto Bathurst. He's making his feature directorial debut. He's worked in television.
He directed some Peaky Blinders episodes.
Directed Peaky Blinders.
I love that show.
He
Peaky
directed
Blinders.
the first episode of Black Mirror that I ever saw about the Prime Minister and the pig.
Oh, yeah.
So that
good
kind
is
of
Peaky
levity
Blinders.
is coming to the Robin Hood legend. Josh, Richard Marx was not the artist behind the classic song "Everything I Do It For You." That was another smoky-voiced '80s star, Bryan Adams.
Bryan Adams, God, farts.
I know, but however, Richard Marx did have a song on the No Way Out soundtrack, which also has Kevin Costner. So maybe you were thinking of that movie.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate
Yes, of
that. I
course.
appreciate that.
So, and moving to my judgment, everyone was very passionate. I felt again. I think DJ made a very good argument about a financial disappointment, but I think I admire the tactic of just like sort of defining what a disappointment is, but I think it was a very narrow definition, and I felt that Josh and Perry had a broader definition of the term disappointment. And I agree. I think that, and DJ and Perry both kind of hit him for this. I think that Josh was sort of underestimating the interest of Venom to the benefit of his argument, and I sided with Perry. I thought she made the most well-rounded argument, and that's where my vote's going.
You're dead to me, Murrell.
I should have gone with Fantastic Beasts. That was my other choice. I was gone with Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, are you giving up now before I even side with
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Can we give him 2 minutes on Fantastic Beasts and see which one we like better?
No, that violates movie fights rules and bylaws. So I felt like I also think DJ got dinged pretty hard with not just that expectations aren't that high for this movie, so how are you going to be disappointed? Inherently, you can't be that disappointed if the expectations aren't that high. And also, it is coming back out on a packed weekend, a jam-packed weekend with a lot of box office choices. So for me, it came down to Josh and Perry, and Josh had me from his opening salvo, but then he started to get dinged really hard, and they had you back on your heels as far as like, oh no, there are other WB movies we're looking forward to, and then DJ said, yeah, people want to see Momoa with his shirt off, and James Wan has a pretty good filmography. So I agree with Dan. Perry had the strongest argument for me. So Perry, you take that point.
Hey.
Ryan, let us know what people thought with the poll, and then any other choices they had in there.
Yeah, in the chat, they were kind of the main argument they were having in the chat was the same of like whether or not you need the expectations to count for what the question's asking or not, and they came to the same conclusion. They had Venom at 47% on the poll with the most amount of votes. Robin Hood, DJ's answer was just a couple behind at 40%, and then Aquaman at 11%.
Oh wow!
I got dinged because Robin Hood's going to do too bad.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people did not know.
To be a disappointment.
People just don't know about
People
it.
were saying like they're like, I had no idea that the Robin Hood movie was out.
Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx and Robin Hood.
The first minute of that trailer I'm watching, I'm like, wait a second, is this a Robin Hood movie? And then all of a sudden he's like, Robin of Loxley. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. Hey Ryan.
Yes.
Can you say hi to Percival?
Hi Percival.
Hi Ryan. Great. Let's move on to round number 3. Josh with 1 point, Perry with 1 point, DJ looking to get on the board.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Everybody is excited about The House with a Clock in Its Walls. It's number 1 at the box office. So we're asking, what's the best movie with the worst title? Okay? Best movie with the worst title. DJ,
this was
start with
actually
you.
surprisingly a tough one because you can find a lot of bad movies with bad titles, but having a good movie with a bad title is challenging. So I went with what I think is one of the best movies of last year, which was Baby Driver, which if you just told me the title, I'd be like, no, thank you. It makes you sound like, what, Baby Boss or something? And what you actually get is a fantastic musical action heist caper. It's Edgar Wright's own take on a musical and a heist movie. The cast is stellar. The action is stellar. The pacing is stellar. It takes a lot of like classic songs and uses them in ways that you feel like you haven't heard them before. And still, the title is not good. Sure, it's a reference, but a reference does not a good title make. All right. And so, if you just told somebody Baby Driver, they'd immediately write this movie off. And it is truly a great movie that deserves a better title.
All right. Thank you, DJ. Around to Perry.
I went with a very obvious choice for this one for obvious reasons. It's Edge of Tomorrow, which is it's hands down one of the worst titles that actually hurt the movie's box office. It didn't fall flat on its face, but it definitely could have made a little more money had they just gone with the genius title that was Live, Die, Repeat. And it's a legacy that's going to follow this movie for the rest of times, because if you go and you look up this movie pretty much anywhere, the box art for it says in bold, Live, Die, Repeat, and then at the bottom you'll get Emily Blunt, Tom Cruise, and Edge of Tomorrow. Nobody knows what to call this movie anymore, to the point that I'm pretty sure there was a mistake made on the Schmodown at some point where someone said one or the other and then it didn't count. They had such a good title. The movie itself is great too. I watched it last night for the first time in a really long time, and wow, what a genius concept, and who would have expected him to nail the comedy in that movie so well? But it is a great, great movie with a terrible title, and that title will carry on for a long time.
Thanks, Perry. Josh.
Well, I'm going a little farther back into the annals of history there. Annals
Sure.
of history.
Correct pronunciation.
I'm going with an 80s classic, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Now, you're thinking to yourself, why is this idiot talking about this movie? And you're probably right, because it's not a recent movie. But if you look at the poster of this and you actually watch this movie really has nothing to do with the babysitter being dead. The babysitter dies so early in the movie, and it's really just a coming-of-age tale about a family put against their backs and have to care for themselves and figure out who they are as people, while also coming together as a family and realizing who they are as a family, all while having no adult supervision. And it honestly made probably a generation of people realize they don't really even need babysitters. You have your older sister watch the kids, and everybody turned out fine. I know that's how it worked in my family. And this movie is absolutely this movie is absolutely fantastic. Christina Applegate in a very, very young role, some awesome cameos like a David Duchovny and all that kind of stuff. But this movie really is one of the most underrated coming-of-age classics with the worst titles. I remember thinking to myself, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, is this some stupid horror movie I'm going to get scared at? No, it's just an amazing movie that really has a ton of heart. Are there plot holes? Sure, but every movie that is in the 80s has a bunch of plot holes. What this movie has, again, is just plain heart.
All right, fight it out, y'all.
So what criteria are we arguing under here? The worst title or the best movie that
With
also
the
has a
worst
bad
title?
title? Because I like the last couple fights, I've gotten dinged on the criteria of argument.
I mean, I appreciate you asking. There's a little bit of gray area, though. You have to be true to the question. Bad title, good movie.
Because I think, by and large, my movie is the best out of these three easily. All right, so
When was the last time you watched Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead?
just like a couple years ago. It's on TV like all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, you're wrong. That's a great title. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. It's fun. It kind of gets the tone of the movie. It's like it's actually a really cool title. It would make me interested in seeing it.
Well, I've always grown up, so I didn't obviously see it when I was super young, but I had heard the title and become so familiar with it because it catches your ear that eventually I did watch it. And while I still, to this day, have some fun with that movie, this is probably a risk to do, but I'll give you this. You have the best movie at this table, but if you're pairing the best movie with the worst title, there is no doubt it is Edge of Tomorrow. Even the director of that movie has come out and given quotes saying, I fought the studio tooth and nail to have that title change. I lost that battle. And then it was after the fact when the movie didn't make enough money at the box office that they were like, oops, let's use it.
I think that the problem with Edge of Tomorrow is less a problem of title and more a problem of marketing, because the way that movie was marketed on the billboards, it said live, die, repeat. That's how people came to recognize it, which created confusion within the audience. I think Edge of Tomorrow is fine. It's fine. Live, Die, Repeat is definitely a better title.
Edge of Tomorrow at least has
I'd see Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge
You
of
just told me
or
cold.
are we talking about Edge of Darkness? Like, what is it?
No, it's the Edge of Tomorrow.
If you just told me cold, like, oh, there's a movie Baby Driver, like, cool, fine, take it. I don't need that in my life. Then you say Edgar Wright, and you're like, okay, well, maybe, but you have to get over the title to go see the movie. Whereas Edge of Tomorrow, it's like, it might be good.
Baby Driver, at least, is one that it can shake off, because at this point, because also that's Edgar Wright's biggest movie of all time. So Baby Driver, now you go out and you start talking about it in Baby Driver. Cool, you like Baby Driver? Whereas Edge of Tomorrow, you can go and say that to people and they still get confused. What's Edge of Tomorrow? Do you mean Live, Die, Repeat?
Here's the thing. With Baby Driver, that movie is good until the third act, and it kind of loses me. I'm not a really big fan because I want him to... Anyway, just because I always want the bad guys to win. But, okay. Baby Driver, I would watch no matter what. You said Baby Boss, hysterical. Baby Driver, I'm like, oh, they made a sequel to Baby Boss and he's driving a car now? That sounds amazing. But then you give me the actual movie Baby Driver, I'm like, sold me. Edge of Tomorrow, I mean, you could sell me the whole seat, but I'm only going to need the edge kind of a thing. Edge of Tomorrow is a great... I'm on the marquee. I see Edge of Tomorrow. I'm like, wow, let's check this out. Well, I wonder what the Edge of Tomorrow is. I bet it sounds awesome. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. You're like, oh God, this movie's gonna be so stupid. But then you get in there and you have this heartwarming tale of a family coming together, all whilst the oldest daughter is searching for her identity in the crazy world of New York fashion.
A mighty predictable tale. Whereas Edge of Tomorrow is just filled with smart surprises. And the problem with, Edge of Tomorrow, I get what they were doing
Groundhog
there. But
Day with weapons.
When you do Live, Die, Repeat, that goes into the genius of the idea. Not really, though, because
that could have been the name of Groundhog Day too. You don't see people going like,
also,
Live, Die, Repeat.
Edge of Tomorrow always goes to the Edge of Tomorrow, but never quite makes it. It applies.
It applies
Again,
too, because his name is Baby and he's a driver, so it makes sense.
But it's a problem of marketing. Again, like Baby Driver, it just doesn't quite sell
genuine?
what.
Yeah. Oh, he just got it.
No. I'm genuine. I'm like, oh yeah, Edge of Tomorrow. I'm saying
exactly.
like, if I was like in the theater.
Right here is the point.
No, I didn't. But I mean, okay. Here's the thing. Edge of Tomorrow and Baby Driver have these. I think they're two. These like succinct titles. They're like, bam, Baby Driver, awesome. Edge of Tomorrow, ooh, what is on the edge? They don't even not tell the mom the babysitter's dead. They only have one phone call with the mother throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, but it's these kids on their own because the babysitter's dead. You get that through the title.
Did they kill the babysitter?
Title. Also,
did they Weekend at Bernie's keep the babysitter alive, but he's dead? We don't even know. And then you get to it, and it doesn't even matter. The babysitter is like the first 5 minutes of the movie. Nobody gives a crap.
It's the inciting incident of the movie.
Yeah.
that basically reverberates
So it's like
throughout
being on the
entire
edge of
thing.
tomorrow or the babysitter's dead. It's the same. Like, and by the way, we
Or
can
And
Don't
also
Baby
a
Driver
baby
named
driver.
Baby.
It's also like, but he's not a baby. He's a full grown
His
adult.
name is Baby,
Like
though.
he's like a college. Yeah, and also I don't think that's a great name for that character. I think
that's not what the question is.
the title
You
even
just sold your movie.
the title
That's
even
not a good
affects,
name for a guy.
It
no,
is
the
a-
title
it's a
even
catchy name.
infects the movie itself. Like trying to get the reference in there, they give a character a weaker name that doesn't really fit the character.
If I met someone named Baby, I would never forget the name, and that is exactly what happened with Baby Driver, which is why every single time I say that title, I feel cool because I love that movie.
Perry, go ahead and continue with your final thoughts.
Edge of Tomorrow is a terrible title, so bad that the director and the studio eventually realized it, and it's a situation where it's never going to be an issue that fixes itself. The movie is never going to last and have that legacy so strong that people eventually forget about, hey, even All You Need Is Kill, which is what the book was originally titled, Live, Die, Repeat. Now we have all these three muddied up titles that are constantly being considered, and it's unfortunate because who knows, if Doug Liman got his way and they titled that movie Live, Die, Repeat, it would have sold the smart concept of the movie in a flash, and it might have gotten more butts in seats.
Thank you. Josh.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead is an absolute classic with an absolutely horrendous title, because no parent today flipping through things be like, hey mom, I want to watch a movie called Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Had it been called something a little more family friendly, a little more mainstream, I think we would have had the long-lived cult classic of this movie. Whereas we were like, oh, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, that's pretty good. No, it could have been absolutely fantastic, but with a title like that, it really sold it short.
Thank you. DJ?
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead is a classic title for a fine movie, a perfectly decent movie. Edge of Tomorrow is a fine title for a fun movie, and also that's a problem of marketing. You can't put that. You can't assume the other title was better. By the way, it did fine. It's getting a sequel, even though it was a standalone. It was meant to be a standalone movie, so it clearly did well enough with the title, with the bad marketing of the title. Whereas Baby Driver is a title that doesn't sell what the movie is. It turns people off from the movie. And it could use a better title to better illustrate the type of movie that it is, which I'd like to point out we all agreed at the table it was the best movie of the three.
Time. Hoot hoot! Hoot hoot!
Is that mechanical or are you using your hands?
Hoot hoot!
It's a real hour. Where have you been?
Dan.
Yes, sir.
Facts.
Just a couple facts. Doug Liman did claim, subsequently in an interview, his side of the story is that he always wanted to call it Live, Die, Repeat, but Warner Brothers made him call it Edge of Tomorrow, and then realized too late that they made a mistake. And the sequel that is being developed is now called Live, Die, Repeat, Repeat. I think it's also a terrible name.
It's kind of like the whole First Blood 2 Rambo, like that whole thing all of a sudden.
And outside of MACUGA world, the movie Baby Boss is known as The Boss Baby. But I kind of think Baby Boss is a better name. So all kinds of better and worse names flying around.
Thank you.
This was a real fun fight. I think Perry. I was fully with you, but you hit why the title didn't work, but you didn't hit best movie enough. I think Josh, you got dinged. This Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Even though it is a mouthful and stuff, it hangs around. It's an iconic title.
You know what my original choice was going to be?
What's that?
Guardians of Ga'Hoole, the Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Oh, I know who would have liked that. Personally. But the person who made the best argument for bad title and good movie, that combo was DJ for me. So DJ, you get my vote. Dan?
Yeah, get ready for it. They accuse us all the time of doing this on purpose, but I swear it is based on every argument. But I think the person that argued worst title, best movie was DJ. So I'm gonna have to agree with you. It's not a con game. That's just how it works. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. So DJ, you take the point. Ryan, get that poll up and ready. I want to know what it is. But I will go on the record though and say that I think Baby Driver is overrated.
Ouch! That hurts a little
I will
bit.
say, and I actually prefer Edge of Tomorrow to Baby Driver.
I was just watching recently. Fell in love all over.
Ryan, what's the public have to say?
Well, the chat was kind of feeling the same way you were, actually. I think the chat, mostly the conversation for them was arguing what they thought of the three answers was actually the best movie. I think they would agree for the most part that Baby Driver is a weirder title, but they actually thought that Edge of Tomorrow, for the most part, was a better movie. It ended up being 46% for Edge of Tomorrow, 37% for Baby Driver, and then 16% for Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's
Edge of Tomorrow's
Dead.
a blast, and also Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead is really fun. It's a really fun movie.
All right, so
It's a classic for a reason.
you know what else is a classic? This movie fight, because we are all tied up 1-1-1.
Billy, I told you on email, this could be my
is a
victory,
great moment in
baby.
sports. We are going to the tiebreaker. So the tiebreaker works thusly. I will throw out the question and then shout out your answers, and then the first person to answer will go. Everyone will get 20 seconds, and then we'll go back around for 10-second rebuttals. Okay? So 20-second answers, 10-second rebuttals works just like a speed round. So I'll ask the question. Let us know what your answer is. Ready? Here we go. What non-superhero character should bond with the Venom symbiote in a new movie? What non-superhero character, so existing movie character who's not a superhero, should bond with the Venom
John
symbiote?
Wick.
John Wick?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, what character?
Oh, what character? Hobbs
Hobbs.
from Fast and Furious.
Great, we have Hobbs. John Wick.
Charlize Theron in Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde. Great. So we heard John Wick first, and then we'll go to DJ with Hobbs, and then Charlize and Atomic Blonde. Perry.
John Wick is one of the most badass assassin killers we've gotten in a while. He already has all these incredible abilities all on his own. What way do you up the ante with a guy like John Wick than by putting him with the symbiote and making him kind of like Venom? Whereas, someone like The Rock, yeah, we already know he's badass. He hulks out all the time. We see him throw stuff around.
DJ?
The appeal of John Wick is Keanu Reeves' physical performance, his doing the practical action. If you had Hobbs do it, you wouldn't even need to do CGI on Dwayne Johnson. You could put him in an actual suit. His physicality matches Venom. You could get a practical Venom on the big screen, which I think we could all agree would be better than a crappy CG Venom. And you could still have Dwayne Johnson doing all the amazing stuff he does as Hobbs, as Venom.
Okay.
I think what we're lacking with in Venom is a spy-ish kind of a person where they fly under the radar, whereas Charlize Theron in Atomic Blonde is that silent killer. She comes, she kills, she walks away, kind of walking away from the explosion. She gets in that symbiote, ba 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 ba. Then she's this beautiful blonde again. Nobody knows that she's the symbiote, and they can't tell. They just can't tell.
All right, 10-second rebuttals. Perry.
Charlize Theron has some kick-ass action scenes in Atomic Blonde, but that character is thin and dull, and I don't care anything about her, whereas John Wick is layered, and he earned my heart from the second he stepped on screen in the first movie.
DJ.
Hobbs is already one of the most iconic anti-heroes we've gotten in this decade, and having him be able to play a practical Venom it would do a service to the Venom character and to the character of Hobbs. You wouldn't take from either.
I can't see a Venom symbiote on Hobbs. It does not work for me. As far as Thinly Veiled, she's perfect. John Wick doesn't need Venom. That ruins him. That ruins my John Wick.
Hoot hoot. Okay, so Ryan, you're gonna give us your opinion instead of the poll. Right. No time for polls right now. So Ryan, what is your thought? And tell us who does not move on. Who does not move on?
Oh no! All right. Well, I like. To me, I was trying to figure out who would be the most interesting once you add the symbiote on top of them, and I like DJ's argument of being out of those three characters that The Rock, since he's already has such a brutal kind of physical type of body, getting a practical Venom, I think that would be cool. Whereas with John Wick and Charlize Theron, I don't think I think I already like them exactly how they are. So I think DJ would have gotten the point. But if I had to choose between the two who I wouldn't have move on, I think I would have to go Josh, just because I think at least John Wick would be a more interesting character to duel with the symbiote internally out of the two of those.
Dan.
The first person that I would advance is Josh, because I think of the three, he gave the best vision of what the use would be, which is that you would use her existing spy skills, but the Venom symbiote then would be this thing that they're looking for. I kind of like the combination, so I would advance Josh. So the person that I would not advance, that now becomes to me between DJ and Perry, and I don't know. I was not sold on practical Venom. That argument just did not sway me very much, and I felt like so much of DJ's argument was based solely on that idea of a practical Venom. So I would advance Josh and Perry, and I would not advance DJ.
Ooh, so okay, one for one for DJ not moving on, one for Josh moving on. Yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like, I really like, Josh's was also my favorite. I like the idea of just like smooth Charlize Theron just kicking ass and then having that symbiote to come back at him. So between these two, I think I got to side with Dan. Similar way of thinking. DJ, I'm sorry, you are not moving on, but well fought. Always great to have you. Well fought. Yes. So, and I might come to you for your for an opinion and just hear your thoughts as we go into the speed round. Let's do this.
This is brother-sister fight. This is brother-sister
Time to hit the speed round. All right, and that point does the tiebreak does not count for anything. It is 1-1. It is 1-1 going into this speed round, and the rules work similarly to what we just did. First person out gets to give their answer, and it's 20 second, and then 10-second rebuttal, 10-second rebuttal. Y'all ready for this?
I think so.
Thank you. All right, question number 1 of the speed round. The new Dark Phoenix trailer dropped today. Which is the better new cast X-Men flick? First Class or Days of Future Past?
Days of Future Past.
Oh, First Class, without a doubt.
Okay. Perry, you spoke first for Days of Future Past. 20 seconds will begin when you speak now.
Days of Future Past is such a brilliant movie that shouldn't work because it has the new class and the old class in it, and it ties them all together so well, where the new class and the old class wind up enhancing each other. So the perfect passing of the baton for that franchise. I couldn't believe they pulled it off, and some of those performances are some of the best performances we've seen in the entire X-Men franchise thus far. Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, James McAvoy, crush it.
Time.
X-Men, the new class, First Class, sorry, X-Men First Class. Right? That is, without a doubt, the best origin story we've seen in the franchise. That movie should not work, really. And the fact that we're throwing it back to all these young X-Men, and they totally pull it off together. There are superstars in that movie, but they all come together to make that movie perfect. X-Men First Class, fantastic.
Definitely not all of them, because if I recall, January Jones is in that movie, and she's not a lot of fun to watch at all. X-Men Days of Future Past is the much more well-constructed movie of the franchise.
We're arguing cast here. You're throwing all the old cast, and then they do an Inception thing. It really doesn't come together. They're fighting these titans that are shooting all of them together. It seems like such a separate movie. First Class, they're coming together to kill the Nazis.
Time.
And then Cuba.
Woo! All right. So I feel like I heard just a little bit more about different aspects of the film. So best answer for me was Perry, going with Days of Future Past. Dan?
I would also agree with that point. I think Perry had the better argument there. But it was close.
It was close.
It was close.
But Perry takes the lead 2-1. All right, again, it's first player to 4. Here we go. Question number 2. The new Creed 2 trailer dropped this week. What is the best sequel / spin-off of the Rocky franchise?
4.
What?
Creed.
Okay, so we have Rocky 4 versus Creed. MACUGA, you spoke first.
Rocky 4, when you break that movie down, is like about 5 minutes of actual spoken word betwixt 5 of the greatest montages, musical training and or montages in movie history. And in one boxing match, he solves communism. He tears down the Berlin Wall. He tears down the Iron Curtain. Rocky 4 is the
I love the first Rocky movie, and pretty much every single one after that is a little bit of a blur to me. And then Creed comes along, and all of a sudden, Creed winds up reinvigorating my love of that franchise, because all of a sudden, this other movie, so many years later, out of the blue, has really strong character development for its new character, brings back Sylvester Stallone in a movie that earned him an Academy Award nomination.
Rocky 4 was the point in the franchise when they thought they couldn't do it again, and they did. Creed was kind of a surprise, but without what Rocky did in 4, we don't even get Creed.
You could say that about any franchise out there, but what Creed is doing right now, it's taking what the first Rocky movie started to establish, and it's running with it. That's why it was your answer for our first question today, because Creed is so good. You are so hyped for Creed 2.
Time.
How did Perry just beat me in that?
Ryan.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go with Perry.
Son of a bitch, Ryan!
More specifics about the actual movie, or I don't know if we can fact check if it ended communism or not. I don't know if we're able to. But
2 weeks later, they tore down that wall.
Okay, yeah, sure. I wasn't alive during that time, so I'll have to take your word for it. But I do think overall there were.
Now he's throwing H's in it.
I think she had more specific about the actual movie, and that made it clear. I think it was Perry.
Thank you, Ryan. Dan.
2 weeks, 4 years. What's the difference? Yeah. Oh man. I have to take myself out of it because I've been very open about the fact of how much I love Rocky IV, and it is my personal favorite. But based on the arguments, I got to go with Perry.
No, come on!
I'd like to throw some love though to Rocky III with Clubber Lang.
That's a good one.
Clubber Lang. That was always a favorite of mine as a kid.
Oh, Clubber Lang kicked ass, Thunderlips. I also feel like Rocky II is very underrated, a little more subtle than the more bombastic sequels. And we can all agree that Rocky V is junk. Okay, so it is 3-1 Perry. This is game point. So, Josh, you need to continue this.
I need a horror question.
You need this to continue the game.
You don't need anything. I need something. You guys have anything on there about Summer Catch or Airborne? What do you got?
I have this question for you. Oh, even more trailers, okay.
Yes.
New trailer for Bumblebee dropped this week. A little John Cena Bumblebee action. What would be the worst object to transform into? If you were a transformer, what would be the worst thing to be the object to transform into?
Be careful, this is a family friendly show.
No.
An air conditioning unit?
An air conditioner?
A window unit? Not even a central AC, just those window units.
It's looking me in the face right now. An empty Red Bull can.
Okay.
Okay, an empty Red Bull can. All right, Josh.
Did not see that coming.
Josh, you spoke first. 20 seconds begin when you speak now.
In the summertime, the AC unit is great. It keeps it cool, but it also drips onto the sidewalk or outside wherever and ruins somebody's day when it drips in their eyeball. In the wintertime, you gotta store that AC unit somewhere, or it stays in your window and just collects dust. It is the worst. AC unit, transformer, terrible.
An AC unit.
Oh, wait. Okay. Boom.
An AC unit gets a whole lot of love because it provides you with wonderful cool air for a really long time. Whereas a Red Bull can, clearly it only lasts so long. You know what's going to happen to this Red Bull can after we walk off this set? It's going to go in the trash. It's actually going to get recycled, but one way or the other, it's never coming back. Its life is over. This is it. Bye-bye Red Bull.
10-second rebuttal.
The Red Bull can, it's just... It already had energy in it, but it can transform and be like, oh, it's under... I don't know. This is... AC units are stupid!
The Red Bull can doesn't get wings. The person who drinks it gets
Fuck
wings.
you, Perry!
Whereas the air conditioning unit gets a lot of love. People take care of it, so it keeps running. I would want to be an AC unit, so I would get taken care of.
Time. Wow.
I had it. No, it was there. And then I crushed my baby.
No one gave the correct answer, which is toilet.
That's what I was
I mean, Josh, your just exasperated, just like explosion there, kind of like just pushed all the chips in my mind over to Perry. I give it to Perry. Dan?
It was like watching. It's like, like when you watch the Olympics sometimes and someone's on like a world, like it's a downhill skier and they're on a world record pace and then they hit that last jump or they come around the last turn and then they just roll into the side in a shower of snow.
Yes.
That's what I just witnessed.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have to give it to Perry.
Perry, you take the day. Congratulations. Well played. Well played.
I like to thank Percival the Owl.
Yeah.
I'd also like to thank Percival. If he could start following me on Twitter, that'd be awesome.
I'd also like to thank Percival the Owl.
Woot woot! Thank you. Perry, congratulations.
Thank you.
Please give some shout outs. Tell us where we can find you.
Oh boy, a whole bunch of shout outs. You can find all my stuff on Collider.com, my own personal YouTube channel, and Collider Video, of course, where we have FYC, the new 4-year consideration show. And if you like horror like me and not like Josh MACUGA, you should check out Collider Witching Hour. I do it with Haley Fouch, and it's on the Collider Factory podcast network.
Awesome. Sounds spooky and delightful.
It is.
Congrats. Well fought, Perry.
Thank you.
Is this your first movie fight fights victory? Second, third?
I think it might be my first official movie fights victory. I think I had a TV fights one, and then like another at the event you guys did. I might have won that small round.
Right on. Well, you crushed it. Thank you so much. Nicely done,
me.
Josh. You're always delightful, and and I just love hearing you speak.
I'm sorry.
Well played.
I'm sorry to all those air conditioning units out there that I may have.
Yeah, you offended a lot of air conditioners out there.
I had no idea how to fight in a Red Bull can. That's where I lost my marbles there.
A Red Bull can would be right in line with the amount of product placement that they have in some of the Transformers movies. So, Josh, please go ahead and tell us where we can find you. Give some shout-outs.
Yeah, at Josh MACUGA, Twitter and Instagram, The Josh MACUGA Show on YouTube. I'm all over Collider TV Talk, Collider Live, Monday through Wednesday, and Josh MACUGA for Jeopardy. Hashtag it. I gave all these guys buttons. If you see me, I've got all kinds of different swag that I can give to you guys. Jump on your social medias, take a picture, just tag Jeopardy or hashtag it Josh MACUGA for Jeopardy.
Josh MACUGA for Jeopardy. Hashtag Josh MACUGA for Jeopardy. DJ Woolridge, always a pleasure having you in here. Some great answers. You turned me on to a Netflix movie that I'm really looking forward to now.
Me too.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Please give some shout-outs. Tell us where we can find you.
So you can find me at Only Stupid Answers. Like I said, it's a podcast where me and Sam Basher talk about movies, comic books, and TV shows. We also do a live show, which is going on like right now. So when you're done watching this, you can go to twitch.tv/playnoggin, and you can catch, you mentioned TV Fights, Roxy Strider's over there. And she hosts that show with us. And you can listen to our podcast on Mondays. For all that, just go to onlystupidanswers.com.
Excellent. DJ, always great to have you. Dan Murrell, give some shouts.
So many shouts. Shout out to everyone watching. Thank you for watching.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what you can watch us on Screen Junkies News every morning. SJU on Twitter. Oh, and I want to make sure we don't forget how, this may be in your notes too, but if you watched that speed round and you felt like you had a question that you would have liked to have seen our competitors answer, we are now taking fan suggestions for speed round questions to use in future episodes. So if you have a good speed round question, it can be a this or that. It can be a we haven't done a bargain bin question in a while.
Yeah.
It could be anything that pops in your head you think would be good for the show. Comment down there, and if you see one that you like, upvote it so it'll help us see it. But yeah, we want to get you involved in helping us pick some speed round questions.
Hell yeah.
Are we allowed to submit speed round questions on movie fights that we're not involved in?
Yes, ones that you're not involved in.
Cool.
Sure. We'll take a look. Cool. So it would be
got a lot of Billy Zaners up here.
Oh, a lot of Zaners. I love some BZ. Ryan O'Toole, thank you so much for stepping in and being the voice of the people. Yeah, you held it down, my man. Please give some shouts.
Hey, shout out to Danielle for not being here, so that I can be here. No worries, people in the chat. She will be back, and the dank memes will follow. I didn't want to take her bread and butter. That's her thing. Thanks for having me. And if you want to check something out, I just did Ed Greer's Nerd Goat podcast. I just did an episode on Captain America with Ed, so that was a lot of fun.
Oh,
check
awesome! Very cool. Thank you, sir. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want you to please tune in next week because we are having a special show, the debut deathmatch. We're going to have a bunch of first timers on, and they're going to be competing for something special. And yeah, we'll see who came to play, who makes an auspicious beginning, and who walks away never to movie fight again. I want to thank Billy Biz in the booth holding it down. JTE, get well soon.
Get well soon, JT.
Yes, absolutely. JTE, we're thinking about you, and I hope you've finished the new Spider-Man video game by now with all your time to play it. And I want to thank my little friend Percival. Hi, Ryan.
Hi. Bye, Percival.
Ryan.
Oh, God.
Can we be friends?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Percival made a friend. You guys, I want to thank you for watching. Hit me up on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll see you next week on Movie Fights. Bye-bye.
Bye.